we're gonna make elephant toothpaste, and I gave this to Miss Hicks and Miss Daria, and so I don't know if she sent it out to you guys yet or not, but here's the instructions how to do it. So you guys can do it at home, and it actually would be good because I know when we were in school, you guys were practicing measuring things, and so you're gonna have to measure out ingredients to put into a jar or a cup or whatever you want to use. So it'd be good for you guys to measure things. It'll help with your practice with that. So basically, it's really simple. You can use household ingredients. You basically just need empty jars, like a 20-ounce Coke bottle will work, or glasses. You know, I'm going to use a Listerine bottle because I like to change the sizes and shapes of the bottles to see what it does, see if it changes things. Then you can use 3% hydrogen peroxide, so like the kind that you put on your cuts, but I like to use the stuff that you buy at Sally's Beauty. So it's the stuff for like lightening your hair, the developer, but you have to use the clear developer that's liquid, not the cream kind. And this 30 volume is about twice as powerful as the kind that you put on your cuts. And so because of that, it can bleach your skin, so you might want to wear gloves or just be careful. I put towels down because I'm using one of my tables. I was going to do this outside, but since it's possible it's going to start pouring rain and stuff, I decided to do it inside, but I got towels down, so hopefully I don't end up bleaching my table. And then yeast, it says on the instructions to use the packets of yeast, but for some reason yeast is so hard to find right now. I'm just using what I have, the active dry, in a jar. And then you would just measure out, instead of using one packet, if you have the jar, you just use like a tablespoon of yeast. And then liquid dishwashing soap like Dawn, you need some of that. And then warm water. If you have a thermometer, it's best to get the water to about 105 degrees Fahrenheit, but you don't have to, I mean, just as long as it's warm, but not too hot because you don't want to kill the yeast. And not too cold because the water has to activate them and make them turn on and start working. And then food coloring, just because it kind of makes it look neater. Instead of just being white, you can make different colors. You can try to make stripes and other stuff. So that's about it. So let me get started. So I have 3 different jars or containers here. I'm going to do it 3 times. We're going to try to make a striped one with this, and then we'll just do 2 different colors with these 2. And then you're going to take your hydrogen peroxide. My headphone keeps wanting to fall out of my ear. Take your peroxide, and you're going to measure out a 1/2 cup. If I can pour good here. Right there, 1/2 cup. Always put your lids and stuff back on your supplies when you're doing things like this, because you might accidentally like bump it and then it just spills everywhere. So that's one thing I used to teach my kids in my science classes when I was teaching science in Arizona. So we're going to pour that in there into the glass. Then we're going to get a 1/4 cup of Dawn. So about right there. We're going to pour that in there. Autumn, can you give me one more straw? Since this doesn't have a lid to it, it'll be easier for me to stir it with something. That one works, Autumn. No, the blue one. All right. Okay. So I'm going to kind of scrape this out a little bit, and then I'm going to hand it to my daughter to clean it for the next one. Oops, just got that on the towel. Here you go, Autumn. Okay, then after you do that, we're going to add some blue food coloring to this one. Okay, and then we're going to stir this around. Okay, so we've got that now, that mixture there. All right, then next, we're gonna put a tablespoon of yeast into this small cup. Okay, let me move that aside. Then we're gonna add some of this warm water to it. So in the separate cup, I have warm water and the yeast, and then I want to stir it. So you got to wait a few minutes for the yeast to activate. So usually up to 5 minutes or so. There's been times where I've done it in class and I didn't have time, so I just had to do it kind of quickly, and I didn't have a good amount of time. And it still worked, but not as good as if you let it all activate. Peyton, you want to pour this one in?
Peyton, go do it. Go
Okay.
do it, Peyton.
So while I'm doing that, or while I'm letting that sit, I'm gonna get another one ready so we can move this along a little bit. So we'll just give that a couple more minutes. That bottle's pretty much gone. Just leave it right there for now. All right, so give that back to my daughter. All right, Peyton, let's go ahead and pour this yeast in here and see what happens. Scoop this over. All right, ready? Pour it all fast.
Whoa.
There you go. It looks like a big blob of toothpaste. So changing the shapes of the bottles will get a more dramatic effect. So in my science classes in Arizona, I used to have a lot of supplies, and I had graduated cylinders that were something like this tall, and I used to get them to shoot out the top and stuff. So you can try different things. So let's put this aside, and if you feel this, if you do this at home, you can touch it. It's just basically foam. What happens is the yeast eats on the hydrogen peroxide and cuts one of the oxygen molecules off of it. And that creates oxygen gas, just like what you breathe in, what your body needs. And when it cuts that oxygen off and creates the oxygen gas, the gas gets trapped in the Dawn dish soap, which is why you have the foaming action. So it's warm. If you do it at home, you'll be able to feel it. It's warm to the touch because it's an exothermic reaction. And what that means is, like, if your body is exhaling air, you're breathing out air. So exothermic, exo means out, thermic, therm is heat, so energy in the form of heat. So exothermic would be giving off heat or putting out heat. And so that's why this feels warm, the foam, because there's heat that's trapped in it too, besides the... This is making a bigger mess than I thought it would. All right, let's do the next one. This time, my hand, I think, is going to be stained blue. This time, since Daria... Oh, I can't open this. Since Daria likes purple so much, we're going to make a purple one. Oh, wait. Yeah, we'll do a purple one on this one. Then I'll try to make the stripes on that one. Thanks, Autumn. Okay, thanks. Peyton, will you go try to get your brother? Okay, so there's that. Okay. So now, let's get the yeast ready. Let's put this aside. Everything is so slippery. Autumn, can you give me some paper towels so I try to like dry my hands? I didn't think that far ahead. Yeah, I'm gonna have Smurf hands after this. Oh my gosh, they're so blue. Alright. Hold on, Connor. You can stay right there. Alright, little dude. This is my son, Connor. Say hi, there's the camera right there.
Hi.
So, we're gonna do another one here, and I'm gonna have him pour it in this time. Okay, let's get rid of that. Let's stir this up. Okay. All right, we're gonna give that, oh, it's all clogged up in there.
Ew.
There we go, got it out. Okay, so we're gonna set that aside and let that activate while we make the next one. This is the bottle. I'm afraid it's gonna fall over because it's got such a skinny base to it. All right, that's a half a cup there. Let's pour that in here. Pouring the liquid in here should make the bottle a little bit heavier. That way maybe it won't be knocked over so easy. But I pulled this bottle out of the trash and I'm not sure where the lid went, so. Let's get the soap. Now, clear soap, if you have clear Dawn, that would make the food coloring a little bit better. Since this is blue Dawn, some of the other food colorings don't want to show up as good. Oops, it's dribbling down the sides. Okay, well, I'm a little shaky. All right, so let's put that aside. Let's leave that aside for now. All right, Connor, what I want you to do is take that jar right there and pour it in there really fast, okay, and see what happens.
Really fast.
Really?
Go, go, go.
Fast. Hurry up, watch out. There you
It looks
go.
more pink than purple.
Is that pretty cool?
It looks magenta.
Okay, so there's purple, and if you feel it,
I won't feel it.
same thing. You can feel it real quick. It'll be hot. Does it feel warm, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you guys try this at home, which I think you should because it's fun to play with, then you'll be able to feel it. You can see that it's nice and warm. It's not going to burn you, but it's warm to the touch. Yeah, the blue one's colder now. All right, let's move that one aside. Now that my towels are getting really disgusting here, and I can see that I think this white one is getting stained blue and purple.
It's gonna stain the table.
Hopefully not. All right, so what we're gonna do here is we're going to mix this. Mix that up. And I'm gonna wait to do the food coloring because we're gonna try to do a striped one. We'll see if this works. Okay, so let's get this ready. Whoa.
Uh-oh.
That wasn't quite a whole tablespoon. So there we go. Oh, thanks. There's a little bit left, Amy, so you can make a little bit of bread. Sorry. All right, let's get this poured in here. So my daughter Jaden, my oldest one that's living here with me, she showed me a video earlier today of the guy who has the world record for making elephant toothpaste. He made one so huge that it actually stained his house. He did it outside, and the foam pile was like 6 feet tall or something, or 8 feet tall, or it was giant. And it stained his walls on the outside of his house. So I'll see if I can pass that information along, and you can look at it on YouTube. My wife is also recording this. That way I can post it on my YouTube channel, and then Daria and Miss Hicks can pass it along to people who weren't able to be here. That way they can look at it. All right, this one's ready to go. So let's put that one aside real quick. Okay, now we're going to try to make it striped. So what you have to do to make it striped is, instead of putting the drops all the way down inside the center and then mixing it up, you're going to have to try to put them on the edges. Okay, so the edges, and just let it dribble down the side. And then what happens is as the foam comes up, it should get that food coloring, and there should be a stripe of whatever color is right there coming up. So in theory, this is the way that's how it should work. So let's do blue stripe here, like that, so it goes down the sides. And then let's do a purple stripe here. Now the other problem is me trying to get this poured in here to where that solution poured in to where it's not going to spill the rest of it. All right, let's see what happens here. All right, last one. And I'm gonna do this one because it's got a small opening, so I'm gonna try really hard. No. Oh, it's kind of colorful, but it's not striped. It's got swirls of blue, green, and kind of purplish pink in it. But then you can see what color it is if it doesn't have any food coloring in it. It comes out just white like that. And that bottle went a lot faster and kind of shot out because of the pressure that builds up inside, and the neck on it is so thin, everything tries to come out at once, and then it goes under high pressure, and that way it can shoot up. So if you do this and you get small necked bottles, you can actually get it to shoot up into the air. I think that's it. So if you guys want to turn your mics back on, you guys can tell me what you thought about it. Ask me any questions or anything. What was that?
Sit on the ground, Diego, me.
What'd you guys think?
I don't know, because I'm eating this. Just keep it.
You're welcome.
Downstairs.
So this one's actually kind of getting striped now. If I can flip it around, there you can see some purple and blue in it. Well, are you guys gonna try it at home? You better. And yeah, my biggest problem is trying to find the yeast. I have been to so many stores to try to buy yeast, and it's almost impossible. Yeah. My daughter works at Ingles. Hint, hint, Mr. Tucker. So she, every night when she's done, before she comes home, she looks at Ingles and sees if there's yeast or other things that we need. And so she'll buy it and bring it home to us. So with the first, I don't know if we ever got any from Walmart. Walmart always says out of stock.
You've only gotten that jar.
So the only jar we've been able to get so far is from Ingles.
Yeah, Kroger and Jasper don't have any. Tell them that.
Did you stain the table?
Yep. Yep. Hey. Yeah, we've been able to find toilet paper and paper towels out here in LJ pretty good, but in LJ, turn it off. In LJ